Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of the Rink Show. You have your host,
Sabrina and
and Harley. And today we have none other than Tom Mitchell.
woo! Yay!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Anytime. How are you today?
I am great. I am excited. I've got PPW coming in a couple weeks, got some big things elsewhere. So yeah, it's just been all good around here. How are you guys doing today?
I can't complain today. Today was a day off. I took a nap in the middle of the day, so I'm
Love that.
yes.
Yeah.
Harley,
Fine.
how was your day? Good. Okay, that's
That
good.
is like killing me.
No, you're good. Did I give you my sickness?
Yeah, I think you
Was I
did.
sick last week? I know. I didn't even see you, and I just gave it to you through the computer.
Yep.
So exciting.
No, so let's just start.
Jump
Right in.
All right.
Who or what got you into wrestling?
So originally, it was my uncle. My uncle would always have wrestling on, and my parents weren't big on wrestling. But he was a huge wrestling fan. So we'd go over to his house and would play like the old SmackDown games and stuff like that, just watching on TV. But the first distinct memory I have of wrestling, WrestleMania 18, it was The Rock and Hulk Hogan, and they're just staring down at each other, and just that I was 3 years old and I was just so hooked like right away. It was like one of like my first like memories I have in life. It's just that stare down through the TV, seeing my mom's bed watching WrestleMania. But yeah, ever since then he's just been constantly following wrestling, particularly WWE, and yeah, it's just been a journey.
Yeah. Okay, so who is your dream opponent or dream match?
Dream opponent. I would say AJ Styles, just because he's someone who I watch from like Impact, like now like in WWE, who I just kind of like watch like just adapt and grow his style from like the super crazy high flyer, which is what I always thought it was gonna be if I ever became a wrestler, to like now he's still like super athletic. Don't get me wrong, but like he's so much smarter about the way he wrestles, so that way he can still like wrestle well into his 40s. And I think he's just one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. I think it would just be an absolute honor. I have a lot to work to do to get to that level to be able to keep up with him, but I think that'd be just something a dream match for me down the line.
Yeah, no, you recently just started wrestling, right?
I did, yeah. So I'm right around 1 year worth of training. My in-ring debut was May 14th, so about 6 months of actually being in the ring.
Wow.
First match, I was very fortunate. Got the honor of teaming up with Fandango, going by Dirty Dongo here in the Indies, and yeah, it was just like a lot of like self doubt going into that match because I wasn't really sure. It's your first match. All my family's there and whatnot. They're here. I'm teaming with this guy who was on TV, who we were literally watching WrestleMania when he defeated Chris Jericho, and they're like, now he's teaming up with me. So yeah, it's just been crazy since then. Like just getting over that first match, like everything else has been so much just smoother sailing. Just because it's always the first match is the worst, just trying to get the nerves out of the way. And yeah, ever since then, it's just been. I feel like just getting better and better each time. Just get more comfortable out there, knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because like I saw you, team up with Johnny Moran. That was like you were interviewing championship material at the time,
Mhm.
and the first like push that you gave to Joey, I was like, oh, he's gonna be a wrestler now, and like it's just like it was so interesting because like seeing you go from like these like really funky suits to like a wrestler, I was like, I didn't even know this was in you, but like ever since then you've been doing really well, and so I can't wait to see where this takes you.
Thank you. Yeah. So I actually have a background, a football background, but when I first broke into wrestling, I really had no intention of getting in the ring. That's the honest truth. I was pretty beat up from football when I first started out with PPW, and all of a sudden, like it was really COVID happened, and I just started getting that itch versus like I need something to do. Like I'm still like a competitor at the end of the day. Like I love just being able to like push myself to like the physical limit, and it was just like the perfect segue with wrestling because I was always around it. I knew so much about it, like just like interviewing people and whatnot, just picking up things from wrestlers. So yeah, it was one of those things that was just like the perfect storm kind of came about, and I was able to make the transition.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, I never knew that you had no desire to like become a wrestler, but things happen. I always say to Harley, it's like, listen, I'll be a manager. I'm never getting in the ring. I just don't have the stamina to be actually be in the ring. But no, that's great. And now you're a tag team with Johnny. Is that still happening?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So last month there was a little bit of miscommunication. Johnny on a show the weekend before, really messed up his eye, his oral bone, and so he was wearing an eye patch. I don't know if you guys saw him without the eye patch on, but it was pretty gruesome looking. So yeah, we just had like a little miscue. But yeah, and after the match, I did kind of get lost in the moment. You know, Joey Martinez broke my ankle. I was pretty upset in the moment that we ended up losing that match, and I gave him a shove, which I regret. Right, like I regret nowadays. I was just a competitor in me, like really wanted to beat championship material of all teams. Shut up, championship material.
Right.
So yeah, I just got extremely frustrated in that moment, and yeah, I regret it. I apologized to him right after. It's just like, dude, I'm like that's not me. I'm just too competitive, and I just got the best of me in that moment.
I know. I was calling your partner Pirate Man for the whole match. So
yes.
I was like, oh, look, it's the pirate. But no, yeah, I saw it without the eye patch, and it was disgusting. I was glad that it was on.
Yeah, it's yeah, PPW is a family friendly show, so I think it's definitely for the best that he wasn't having that being shown around.
Little bit. No, I get it though.
So then that would lead like into the next question. Do you prefer to be heel or face?
Oh, definitely face. I have never been heel in my career. I really don't plan on going heel. It's just something about being able to like inspire people and get in the crowd to like get behind you and cheer for you that just resonates with me way more than ever being a heel or a bad guy, whatever you want to call it. I just couldn't see myself doing it. I just love interaction. Like I love putting smiles on people's faces. So like I don't think I have that within me to be able to make that switch.
I couldn't see it in you. You smile too much.
Right? Yeah.
As a heel, what are you gonna say? Like, you suck. I'm gonna start smiling. Like,
your eye has a big smile. You suck.
Yeah. It doesn't work quite right.
No. So if you could wrestle anybody, see now I'm just curious. If you want to wrestle anybody in PPW, like a singles match, 1-on-1, who would it be?
It would either I'm between two. Either Bro Keller or Action Andretti. So I like Bro and Action both live relatively close to me, and we've trained together before down where we live at. And he's like just both of them just so incredibly gifted athletically. It would just be a really good test for me to see where I stack up, because like, can I keep up with, I'd argue, two of the best in PPW right now. I believe like they're not going to be in PPW for too long. Like I believe that they will eventually get signed somewhere. Like they will be on TV, and that's bottom of my heart. I believe that. So we've seen Bro on TV on Raw. Andretti's been on AEW a few times. So yeah, I think just facing one of those two, I couldn't really pick between them, just because I think they're both just so incredibly talented. But yeah, that'd be my matchup one day.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, go up against Action Andretti. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to boo you. Like
that. I understand. Yeah, he's the man. He is the man. He's so good.
Every freaking podcast we had on, people are like, "Yeah, I'd go against Action." Harley's like, "Sabrina wouldn't know who to pick at that point." I'm like, "No, I'll stick with Actions."
Yeah.
No, but yeah, they're both very good. And I like you said, I don't think either of them are going to be in PPW long. I think they're definitely going to go on to bigger and better things, just because of their talent. Like there's so much talent that I'm like, they're definitely gonna move on.
And don't get me wrong, like PPW is probably the best independent wrestling promotion in all of PA.
Oh, for sure, I've been to my share.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I'm not saying like they're moving on to bigger and better as like a knock on PPW. It's just like the next step for them is eventually getting like a contract somewhere. So, and like
Oh
I
yeah,
thoroughly
PPW
believe it.
like is that first step. Like it's such a professional, like I mean, from our standpoint, like we see it as like all you guys there are just like so nice and personable that it's like it's a great environment to be in. I think it's all about the environment too as well.
Oh, big time, man. I mean, the PPW Nation really makes that environment what it is as well. Like, you guys are awesome. Harley, your signs every month,
Right?
bringing Christmas presents for everybody and whatnot. Just stuff like that just makes PPW so cool, and there's so much different than everywhere else.
Yeah, no, like Bro Keller has been working like for it since Hazleton. And
Hmm.
that's my question for you. Do you think like because you were there in Hazleton, I'm pretty sure, and
Yep.
Broadheadsville, do you see a difference or no?
I definitely see a difference in the crowd. The crowds are different. I think that because Broadheadsville is just such more of like a closer, like a smaller arena. It's definitely a lot easier to like hear like the noise and like the crowd's
Yeah.
more rowdy in Broadheadsville, like the best way possible.
Rowdy?
Hazleton,
No.
like Hazleton though, and Hazleton, like it was a lot more like the fans there were great. Don't get me wrong, but they're a lot more like watching, and they weren't really involved in
Yeah.
the action as much. It also was like a massive like gym, so that made it hard for like the fans who were cheering. The sound wasn't getting
Yeah.
as funneled in. So I'd say that was the biggest difference between the two. I mean, both are really cool venues in their own unique way. Like the Signature Training Academy is really has a feel of an arena now, especially like the TV's up, like the entranceway, things like that. And Holy Family Academy, it was really good for like the Impact show where we could fit like 800 people or something
Yeah.
crazy in there.
I know it's crazy. I started going in April, and that's when like the turf was still on the floor. And I remember walking in there because I knew SPF, so like they invited me, and I was like, okay. I walked in there, and I was like, I said to my friend, I was like, it smells like such like BO in here. Like I could
Yes.
not. And then the next month that I went, like the turf was off the floor, and then the next time that I went, like the tile, like it was just it's crazy to see the transition. And it's great because now it's like, wow, you're actually like a full-on wrestling show. Like I feel like the experience is different than what it was back in April. So
Yeah,
we're definitely
big
doing
time.
something bigger and better. So that's good.
Big time.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's definitely like a change every single month. So that's why we're like, oh my God, I wonder what they changed this month.
right?
Right?
But
Me and Tom were like, right? Like let's see if they
Yeah.
do that. Let's see what they do next month.
Oh, it smells good in here again. Let's go.
Because they had the bar last time. That was the new thing.
Yes.
The bar. So now it's like, okay, what's gonna happen this time? Are you
yeah,
gonna
right?
bring back Tom Mitchell's suits? Is this what's gonna happen?
Wow, we never know what's gonna happen at PPW show. Hey, I still have all the suits, like so you know, never say never.
Those are some very colorful suits.
Yeah, so when I started backstage announcing, I was like, I want to do something that's like makes like because when you're a backstage announcer, you shouldn't want the attention, but I was like, I still want there to be a way for me to like resonate with the people where it's just like they remember the stupid suits and the silly little quirks I have with the different guys and whatnot and girls, and so like I was just like, it's just the most ridiculous suits I could find. Like I got like bedazzled suits. I got Pac-Man suits, just in bright colors, like pretty much everything. And I got some like classy suits as well, where it was like if like Impact rolled to town, I was like, all right, I had like a nice like legit suit I could wear to that. Where the promote like if they needed me, it wasn't like, oh okay, this guy's like just over the top with it.
Oh yeah. No, that's the first thing I noticed my first time at PPW. I was like, your suits. I was like, oh, this guy's a little flashy. Look at him. And then the next month, like it was a different thing. And I was just like, it was interesting more to see like what difference you would have than the next month. Cause I'm like, what suit is he wearing this time?
Yeah, right.
But the polka dot suit was by far one of the best ones so far. So
Look at that. All right, might have to
My
break that
favorite
out.
Exactly. Let's see. So who we like totally skipped over this, but who trained you?
Okay, yeah. So I've been trained by a few different people. So I started out getting trained. It's a company called Pennsylvania Prime Championship Wrestling. They're down in York, PA. That's actually where I had my first match with Fandango at, by Jermaine Jubilee. And then I started training with Alpha and Tommy Slade at PPW on the Battlefield Pro Wrestling Training Center. And then I also train at Susquehanna Wrestling Organization with a man named Ken Andrews and a tag team called Dog Nation, who the one of them is the true champion. They're a company that was running up here, up in like the Pocono area. I want to say Berwick, but yeah. So it's really just been a bunch of different styles, which I've really enjoyed because I can kind of like pick some stuff from off of that. Like I really love. I picked some stuff from Jermaine that I really like, Dog Nation, like just different stuff like that. It was just really just and then kind of forging into like my own unique style. So yeah, so it's been a variety of hands in the pot.
Yeah, no.
That answered our other question, because usually when people say like different training sites, we're like, so like, is there differences between like all their training styles? And obviously there is. So I mean,
yeah. So my favorite comparison I heard is like compared to ice cream. Like all ice cream's good, but there's different flavors of ice cream for everybody. So like I will take, I don't know, like the way Alpha kicks out of pins, for example, just one example. But then I will take the way that Jermaine did collar and elbow tie-ups, and Dog Nation would chain wrestle. Just really, just there's certain stuff that was just like, wow, this really resonates with me, and I can incorporate it into how I want to wrestle and how I want to present my character in a way that will resonate best with fans, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't like. I've seen obviously you worked with Johnny Moran, but what would you say has been your favorite tag partner to work with?
That's a good one. I'm about to upset some people.
It's okay. That's what we do.
Fandango is really cool just for the star value. Like just being able to like say like, yeah, like match one him, but I am really enjoying my partnership with Moran. It was pretty out of left field when they presented the idea to me, and I was like, "Oh, Moran's gonna come back." Well, I've always liked Moran as a person. Like when we were interviewing and whatnot, we had great chemistry, and so we were able to like just transition that between the ropes. And my other two partners I've actually like trained with before, and me and Moran like we just kind of click. So it's been really cool teaming up with him, especially because like I said, like there really hasn't been that familiarity with him that I have with other partners, and just being able to mesh right away has really been fun.
Yeah, I remember when you guys teamed up, that was a show that I was like, I didn't know personally who Moran was, and Harley was next to me, and she's like, he's back, oh my gosh. And I'm like, who? Like, I don't, because like I saw him outside in the line with everybody else talking to Gavin. So I was like, who's back? Like, I don't get it. And she's like, Moran's back. Oh my gosh. Like, it was this big thing. And I was like, I have no idea who he was. Yeah. So, yeah, no, yeah. You guys made a good partnership, though. Like, I mean, a lot of people are happy he's back. Like, he's a nice person. Like, I've maybe talked to him a few times, but he's a good person all in general. So, I'm excited to see where you two go. Maybe championship material, getting that belt around your waist.
Oh, like, definitely. Hopefully win some gold here soon. Right. That's the plan.
Right. I mean, my first time there is when championship material took it away from SPF. So, I mean, it's about time.
Yeah, they've been holding that for.
It's about time.
They've had it too long. Let's just.
Either way, they find a way to get it.
Yeah, I'm tired of seeing them hold gold first.
I'm so tired of it. Like, they come out, and I don't even root for them. I root for Ruda, the little tiny man.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh, look at the tiny little man. Every show, I'm like, look at him. And I told him this on a podcast. He's like, I can't ever unhear that. Like, I feel like you're gonna say this to me every time now. I'm like, absolutely.
Oh, I'm 1,000% stealing that from you, by the way. I'm calling him a tiny little man in every promo I ever cut.
Look at that man. Tiny little man. Right.
I'm gonna rub his head and grant 3 wishes or something.
Oh man, I think I'm taller than him a little bit taller. Just a little tiny bit. He's gonna watch us back because he told me he watches these things. I'm like, great.
can't wait for the message about like, why are you talking smack?
Message me. I'll message you. I'll just screenshot it. Be like, this is
Yeah.
what's happening.
Perfect.
So if you had to choose AEW or WWE, what one would you choose?
I would choose WWE personally. I think AEW is doing a lot of things really well. But I just think that WWE, there's just like a level of crispness. I can't say that word. To WWE that it's just unlike any other in professional wrestling. I think just like watching their stuff, I think AEW it's a lot of go go go, and I think WWE takes you more on that journey that I really enjoy in wrestling, and that's why like guys in WWE are able to do it for so much longer. Like Randy Orton, like has not lost a step in 20 years because like he knows when to pick the moments and why to make the moments meaningful instead of just doing moves for the sake of doing moves. I mean, they're all fantastic wrestlers over in AEW. Like you have to be to get signed, but I think that WWE just has a better understanding of how to like make moments matter and create moments. And when WWE like has good stories, like it's the best wrestling in the world. Like it's why I fell in love with wrestling.
Sabrina, it's your turn.
I know. I'm just trying to find. I've been trying to find the same questioning for so long, and it's funny because I keep getting distracted by like things he's saying. Then I'm like, all right, you know what? It's fine. So, because all right, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. Ruda messaged me while we were talking. That's why I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
Okay.
So where in the wrestling world do you see yourself in like 5 years?
In 5 years, I would like to be. I'm very goal oriented. So in 5 years, I would like to have wrestled in at least 10 states and done an overseas tour. Whether that be like UK, preferably UK, honestly, but whether it be like UK, Germany, Japan. If I could just say that like I've wrestled like somewhere like wrestling took me somewhere else in the world, that's a huge goal of mine. I'd love to say like, oh yeah, I want to be in WWE and AEW, but there's only like a certain like small percentage of wrestlers who make it to that point. And so I want to like be like, all right, like let me like start by crawling before we start sprinting kind of deal. And like just make sure that like I am not like trying to like judge my success based off like unrealistic expectations because there's still a ton I need to learn in wrestling. Like I said, I've only been doing this for about a year now, and just like every day, like I feel like I learn something new. Like I don't even have to be in the ring. Like I can just be watching and be like, oh, that'd be like a really cool move to bring in, or like, oh, that's like a transitional move that I never thought of. Just little things like that. But yeah, hopefully like wrestling at least 10 states and doing an overseas tour are my goals.
Now, on the opposite end of things, Harley, I think you know where I'm going with this. Like when you get older, like when would be a time for you to be like, okay, wrestling, this is it? Like, would it be an age thing? Would it be an injury thing? Like to you, like when you, yeah.
To me, it would be when my body tells me, like, I don't want to be that guy wrestling when he's 75 and like can barely move around anymore, or things like that. I want to still like when I feel like I can no longer deliver to the ability I once could. Now, there's be some regression with age, but like once I feel like it's like to the point where it's like I am no longer the person that fans pay money to see, like they're almost just paying to feel bad for me. Flair, I just saw that comment. Yeah, but like like just situations like that where yeah, like you just like you're like just holding on to like what it was, and they're like, oh, like I'm just paying just because I seen him before, and now he can barely walk to the ring, let alone wrestle a match. So yeah, it'd just
Here
be a
comes Tom
body
Mitchell
thing.
with like a walker down the freaking like ramp, like I'm here, guys.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't do that. Just even just for like my own like physical well being, like like I do want to have like a family and stuff like that. So I do want to eventually like put that behind, like be able to move on to that and like play with my kids when I'm older and stuff like that. So
Now, with you doing these interviews, like, what was your favorite like person to interview backstage?
Um, let's see. I would say pre-COVID, Clutch Adams and I had very good chemistry on the mic. Um, Despite the person he is, he's an incredible talker, and made my job super easy. Coming out, I was really enjoying my interviews with Brian Johnson. I think Brian Johnson is just one of those guys who gets it as far as like what to say, and like just comes across so believable. Like that man, like veins pop out of like places that you know you had veins like every time he speaks. I feel like so. I just really enjoy working with him and feeding off his energy. But I mean, I can go like up and down the roster. Like there's so many good talkers in PPW, and wrestling in general. So yeah, I would say, but probably those two stand out right away to me.
Yeah. Um, While Sabrina's dealing with her stuff, what would you say is the hardest part about wrestling?
The hardest part is probably just figuring out who you are. Um, Now, some people probably say like the bumping is the hard part, and don't get me wrong, like bumping is hard. Like it's not natural to throw your body on the ground, like that. But I think to me, the hardest thing is like figuring out, okay, like who are you? Like why should fans care about you? What can you do in the ring to make you stand out from everyone else? Um, I found that very difficult because at first I could just do, oh yeah, I was the announcer guy, yay. But the more I start going other places, like not everyone knows I used to be an announcer. So it's like, how can I create that character that like resonates with people and people want to cheer me on and see me win? So yeah, that's been really tough personally. Like I said, like bumping and stuff, and just doing some moves, like definitely difficult. But I think it's more the mental thing for me.
Yeah. Now what would you say is your favorite part about wrestling?
Uh, getting the crowd, like just feeding off the crowd's energy. That's something. While I really did enjoy doing backstage interviews, I'd never felt the crowd. Like I was just all right. Like here we go. Like I'm just there, just me and the camera and whoever I'm interviewing. But when you're in front of hundreds of people and like they're chanting your name and like you're firing up, like you're hurting, but you keep pushing through. I like there's just no feeling quite like it. Like it just makes like all the bumps and trainings worth it. Oh yeah, and kicking some haters' ass as well. Yeah, that's always great.
No, yeah. What has been your favorite match you have been in so far?
um, I'm kind of between two. So there was a show in West Virginia where I wrestled Chris Slade. Chris Slade, former No Limits champion, and this was I think my seventh match at the time. And so I was traveling with Dog Nation, and they're like, "Hey, we have this guy who's been training with us. You think we got a spot for him?" And that just so happened that Chris Slade's opponent didn't show up. Before the show, the promoter comes out was like, "I got $40 to whoever has the match of the night." And Chris and I both kind of looked at each other. We're like, all right, yeah, we got this. So yeah, we ended up going out there and had a really good match. Like the crowd wasn't into me at first because they knew who I was, and Chris Slade was the big baby face there, and it was like a face match. And by the end, like the crowd was really unglued, and it was an incredible match. Similar situation with Sage Matthews. I wrestled him at Triple WA in Quakertown. Um, oh, we did end up getting match of the night then. So that was really cool to be able to get that. And I was just supposed to be some random kid coming in to fill a spot. And similar situation with Sage Matthews. The crowd didn't know who I was. I came out there and we had a great match. Everyone was calling it like one of the better matches they've had there so far this year. And then I was able to pick up the win. And the crowd got way behind me after like a similar situation where they didn't know how to take me at first. Because I mean, while Sage is a heel up there, it's still like one of those like he's one of those like heels like where it's almost cool to root for him because like he's a good wrestler and like he backs up his talking with his in ring work. But yeah, by the end the crowd was firmly behind me. It's just such a cool feeling to bring a crowd that has no idea who you are, and then by the end, just like have them like completely cheering for you. It's just like being able to win a crowd over is just like one of the coolest things in wrestling, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So that was a very
Aw.
long-winded answer.
No, that was great though. Like it's funny because you were like, oh, whoever has the match of the night, and then like working the crowd. Like the crowd is also like you have to feel the crowd when you're wrestling. Cause you're like, how's the crowd feeling? Like what's happening? And a lot of times, a match went too long when the crowd gets quiet. They were all like, woo in the beginning, and then we're like, okay.
Yeah,
This
so
is-
one of the things that I've noticed in the crowd is like if I look and like I see the crowd like looking like this, like very like intent watching, like I'm usually like, all right, they're hooked. Like they don't gotta be standing the whole time going crazy, but if they're like intently watching, that's when I know. But like I see someone like talking to their buddy, checking their phone, like just kind of slouch back, like whatever. I'm like, all right, gotta do something here. Like gotta wake them back up. So like yeah, it's just being able to read that while like trying to wrestle a guy as well.
Oh yeah, Harley is always on 100 at these shows. Like, there's not even
Oh
like
yeah,
a
oh
dull
yeah.
moment. Whereas like I'll get to these moments where I'm like, okay, I can go to the bathroom now. Like this is bathroom
Yeah.
time. Like let's go. Like, but no, Harley's like constantly like, wow, let's go, and I'm like all right. No, but like that's what makes us like that's what got us to be friends is because I can be as loud as she is sometimes, not really for some people, and like but vibing with her like we said, PPW is like a family reunion every time that we go. So like every time I see her, it's like, oh, we haven't seen each other in a month, but like so we use like 15 minutes before the show sometimes, like just like catching up real quick and going, okay, so this is what's been happening in my life. And then we're like, okay, like let's enjoy the show. And then it's just I don't ever want to leave usually. I'm like, oh man, I gotta wait another month to come back. Like it's crazy. And they're constantly bringing like newer people in. So I mean, even like the heels, like Rembrandt, he's a crowd favorite, even though people hate him.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's crazy how that kind of works. But yeah, he's worked his butt off.
They're like boo, but like we really like you. Like you're really cool.
Yeah.
Oh
no,
man.
especially Cosmic. Sometimes they hate her and then they love her. I'm like, okay, 1 month you hate them and then now you're cheering them. I'm like, you gotta choose.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, they can never make up their mind about those two.
No, yeah.
Especially Cosmic.
Yeah, I mean, I tell Harley all the time. I'm like, I'm pretty much like, if I'm rooting for someone, I will root for them every time. Like I'm a heel person, and Harley knows this. We talk about this all the time. I root for the heels a lot of the times at PPW because it's just like they make it fun, they make it easy, and like now I'm rooting for you and Johnny because you guys are faces. I'm rooting for Trevor and Nolan. Like it's like now, am I turning into a face person now? Like what is happening?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Trevor Nolan, that'd be another fun match for Johnny and I because I mean they're both young and hungry dudes who like are similar to me, like just kind of starting out, and having Johnny be the vet in that match, I think it'd make for like a really cool dynamic. And yeah, I think Trevor Nolan, like give them some time, they're gonna be very good.
They already came up with a name because we were talking to Nolan and Trevor because they've been on our podcast, and they already came up with a name like High Kicks. Is that what he said, Harley? High Kicks. High something. And they're talking about it, and I was like, man, y'all are already having like a name starting to be picked out. I was like, Mitchell, if you guys want to go against him, you have to come up with a name.
I know, yeah, that's one thing we have not been able to come to agreement on. Because like I said, like at first I was just kind of thrown out of nowhere, and I wasn't sure after the first month, like if like they'd keep us teaming up. I was like, I feel like they have to, like the crowd like really seemed to enjoy our match. So, and I think that was like my third or fourth match at that time. Like I was like, oh god, I really hope I don't screw this up. Like PPW debut. It's like if I go out here and just crap the bed, like all my years like backstage announcing will be like for nothing. I'd be like, oh god, you should have stayed back there.
I think your facial reactions, like during your interview with Joey, that first time was hilarious because you're like, "Oh, you want to go? Boom, done." I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
dang it!" Like your facial reaction like sells you so much that if you ever like said something with like a straight face, I could not take you seriously. So I'd be like, "What?" He's not smiling. He's not making his facial expression. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, you see, that's also why I couldn't be a bad guy, because I just don't think like anyone would be able to take me like serious. Like I just like having too much fun and just enjoying life too much to be like, oh no, I'm gonna beat you up now. No, like it's see, I can't even do it naturally. Like it's just I can't.
You just tried for a little bit, and I was like dying. I was like, I'm
Yeah,
done.
nope, doesn't
Like,
work.
no, and like there are people, because like Ruda asked us the other week. He said, "Who could I turn into a heel?" And I said to him, I said, because he said Trevor and Nolan. I said, I don't think they could either, just due to the fact of like who they are when they're in the ring, like,
Yeah,
and who they are outside the ring, and like you. And I could see Johnny eventually turning on you at some point and being a heel.
no.
And I feel Andretti. Andretti could be a heel.
When I met Andre, he was actually a heel, and he was a very
Was
good
he?
one at that. Yeah. But like he's just way too athletic and just way too talented. Like the crowd's like, I don't want to beat this guy. Like, look all the cool stuff he's doing.
Right?
So I think he kind of more like naturally turned babyface. But yeah, I mean, he definitely has like heel mannerisms he can pull out, but like he's just too athletic. Moran has been a heel before. I've interviewed Moran when he was a heel. But yeah, we've been talking and we're on the same page now. Like we got the same goals. So
Well,
knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't have something pulled up his sleeve with Ruda. Something
he's like,
crazy.
he just goes, ha, you know,
Right.
like, we'll all be like in the crowd going, oh, we didn't see that coming. I'm like, Carly, do you remember when Mitchell said he had nothing up his sleeve? He did. But like I said to you last time, I mean, I honestly thought that like that was part of the storyline last month. So like you could have easily played that off him and like, yeah, that was totally supposed to happen.
Yeah. No.
But with you coming out and saying it wasn't, like it means a lot to like the fans, because we're like, okay, good, so like it didn't actually happen. But in the
Yeah.
moment I was like, well, here's the end of the tag team. Like that
Yeah.
lasted a very long time.
Yeah, in the moment, it was like one of those things where, like I said, just emotion get the better of me, and like that very rarely happens. So it was like I was just frustrated. Like I said, like Joey literally broke my ankle. It was like Mr. Ruda has been harassing me ever since I tried getting in the like back in June. Like this has been going on for about like 6 months now, where he's just like they've all just been a thorn in my side. I was like, I just won that like triumphant moment where finally like get over that hump, take them down once and for all, and. No, it's just miscommunication. That's all it is in wrestling.
I will be honest, because Harley loves to throw me under the bus on these podcasts. So she was actually booing Johnny Moran. Like she would go, woo, Mitchell, boo, Johnny. Like it was the funniest thing to hear on this side. Because she was standing on this side. I was like, because I was going, go Ruda, go Mitchell. But she was like, boo, like I was like, whoa. She said, boo Johnny. I said, yo, but you're rooting for Mitchell. She goes, yeah, well. We pick and choose our tag teams. We like,
right,
like, well,
right. I see that.
we love championship material, but like we only like Ruda at that point.
No, yeah. What's the best advice you have been given for wrestling?
The best advice is just to enjoy it. That sounds so simple, but like again, get in the ring and just be like, all right, I gotta do this. Like, just take a moment and like feel the crowd, like just getting behind you, just like be like, wow, like I'm really doing this right now. Just take little moments and like just remember like why you're doing it. And that's really anything in life where it's just like, I don't know, let's smell the flowers kind of deal, where you just take a second to really enjoy what you're doing, or just be grateful that you're here and like this scenario. So, and yeah, I think that also goes to like just like kind of like slowing down, not trying to rush through stuff as well. It's just kind of, yeah, just really enjoy it. That's the best thing I've heard.
Okay.
Sabrina.
Yeah, what's up? Oh, my turn? Is it my turn? Okay. I mean, we know, but like for the people that don't know, where can they find you? Like shows, social media, like kind of thing?
Yeah. So if you're in the York, Lancaster area, I wrestle for Susquehanna Wrestling Organization. Currently a tag team champion there. That is, they usually run in either Red Line or Seven Valleys, PA. And then PPW every month, Broadheadsville. And then Triple WA, Quakertown, PA. So I'll be around, and then I'll do Ram shows here and there as well. As far as social media wise, you can find me Tom Mitchell on Facebook or Tom Mitchell Pro on Twitter and Instagram. Also Tom Mitchell on YouTube. But can't lie, I've been slacking on the YouTube part. I'm working on the highlight reel right now, so that'll eventually get uploaded to there. But yeah, I mean, there's oddball shows you can find me at as well. Like I was at Three Legacies and Lancaster last Friday. I'm doing a secret show tomorrow that I'm sure pictures and stuff will be posted of. But yeah, so I travel around.
Yeah. We know the answer, but do you sell any merch?
I do sell merch. Yes, indeed. So I have T-shirts. I should have been wearing one. That's bad marketing on my part. And then I also have 8x10s for sale as well at shows. Shirts are $20, medium through XL, and $25 for 2XL. 8x10s are $5, but if you buy a shirt, 8x10s are only $2.
Man, that's a good deal. I'm over here like, this is like selling me a car. I'm like, yeah? Okay. Sign me up.
Oh, yeah, I actually do have a shirt. So if you want a shirt, this is what it looks like. I don't know if I'm in the frame. All right.
Yeah,
you got it. You're good.
Sweet.
I remember when I first saw your shirts, and the first thing I said was, wow, it's really a nice blue. Like, that's exactly what I said. And like, I was like, I didn't even look at the design at first. I was like, wow, it's a really nice blue. And it's funny because I think Trevor was next to me when that happened, and he's like, mine's purple. And I was like, yeah, but like that one's blue. Like that one's like really blue.
Yeah, so the whole reason behind the blue is because I saw like a lot of like black and gray wrestling shirts, and I was like, what's something different that like is just like they said, like a nice color that isn't like too blinding like my suits were. So like I settled on that royal blue. And yeah, it's been a hit. Like you don't see a bunch of blue shirts in the crowd, so I usually know it's mine if I see a blue shirt when I'm walking out.
No, and you had like, and that, especially like in this industry, you have to find a way to stand out at some point. So like, whether it's the shirt or like the color of their pants, like, I mean, if someone changes the color of their pants, I'm gonna notice usually because like we're there every month. So like, Andretti changed his pants to green, and I was like, "Yo, what happened, dude?" Like,
Yeah,
red and black shirt thing. Now you're like, what is happening? Little changes I noticed. So
yeah,
I mean, you have to.
absolutely. I keep evolving.
Yeah, I mean, it bugs me though, because I'm just like, yo, I don't know what to do. So, like, I'll wear red, thinking that like I'm supporting Andretti, and then he comes out in green, or if I wear purple, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like,
Yeah,
it's exhausting. So I'm just like, you know what? Neutral colors. I can't go wrong with neutral colors.
right.
well, that's all for me.
I don't have any more questions on my list that I couldn't find. I'm just pretending that I had a list this whole time.
I love it. You will fool me.
Well, it's funny because like when we interviewed Kakoa, I was like, he's like, what are your questions? And I was in my car, so I was like, well, on my hand it says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then at the end of the podcast, because Harley was like, I have nothing, and I was like, and Kakoa was like, what does it say on your hand, Sabrina? Anything else? And I'm like, it says I'm done. But no, we do, both me and Harley also just want to thank you for just taking the time out of your day just to come on and hang out with us, because we're not the most exciting people, but we try.
No, I had a lot of fun. Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. Yes, it's usually
And the next show is November for PPW is November what?
November 12th, PPW Thunderstruck. Serpentico, Dalton Castle, and Luigi Primo, the pizza guy who was on AEW a couple of times. Those are gonna be the stars there this month. I heard a rumor that my match is getting announced tonight, so be on the lookout for that. but I have no idea what it's gonna be quite yet. I'm hoping me and Miranda are still teaming up. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I hope they didn't take the shove too literal. That was just frustrating in the moment. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled on PBW social medias tonight and see what's going on with me.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.